Hello, this is Dan Farisi, Editor-in-Chief of Commercial Integrator. So happy to be joined this afternoon by Jose de la Paz, who is co-founder and CEO of VisibilityOne Corp. Thank you so much for joining me, Jose. I really appreciate you taking the time.
No problem, Dan. Thank you for having me.
So let's get right into it. With the wide adoption of video conferencing and a large percentage of employees working from outside a corporate office, can you share with me how your monitoring solution is addressing the hybrid workforce model?
Sure, Dan. Thank you for the question. So, what we've seen, prior to the pandemic is, a lot of the emphasis was around video conferencing rooms, being able to monitor the quality of service, that experience in a room-based setting. And we had, great tools developed and solutions around that, which included self-healing, failover, path detection, a lot of, key components to really create that high availability around a conference room, IoT, all these other devices that really encompass an experience. At the start of the pandemic, we anticipated that the world was going to change. And with that change, really was going to introduce a bigger challenge for IT organizations or service providers to be able to deliver that same quality of experience to a remote worker, to a remote situation where now, employees were bringing their own devices back home. They were expecting the same experience that they were having in a conference room setting. But that was not going to be the case. We anticipated that there was going to be huge challenges around being able to extend that same support model to the remote workforce. So, what we did early in the pandemic was focus on creating an agent, a client that helped us monitor these services same typical way in a single dashboard and in a single view that we were monitoring the conference room settings, being able to extend that to the desktop, to the home worker. So our solution that we deployed and then we developed and deployed really focused on also the hybrid workforce, not only the room-based settings, but now extending that same model to the hybrid worker. So that means that we could monitor that path detection, whether it's Microsoft Teams or Zoom being used on the desktop. We can monitor the devices, the components, being able to do that remote heal capability, detect when there's a problem proactively, and giving that same visibility to the IT team or the support organization to be able to resolve issues quickly. Now, I think there was about a 76% number that I heard recently of employees working from home today. And so there is a big gap today in the tools that are in the market, and our solution addresses that gap specifically. And that gap is generating approximately 1,000 new trouble tickets for IT organizations today just around video conferencing. So our solution and the way we're addressing the hybrid workforce is really through that agent that we created that sits on the desktop that provides you real-time monitoring for Microsoft Teams and Zoom.
1,000 tickets, that is definitely an eye-popping number. So let's talk about some of these tool sets, these services. What services are being offered in your solution?
So our solution covers a long list of services, but I'll highlight the top ones that are being adopted by IT organizations or service providers. I mentioned self-healing, the ability to have devices automatically heal themselves or repair themselves. So giving you that high availability of that solution. I mentioned path detection. So we monitor everything from that desktop or that room all the way to the service provider gateway. So every hop that it's taking, we're monitoring that jitter, packet loss, latency. And most organizations are used to the dashboard that's provided by a manufacturer, but that doesn't give you the entire view, the entire path that call's taking. And also, we've extended our portfolio to include more in-depth IoT monitoring. So what that means is that we now announce the AV monitoring portion under our Control and Connect portfolio. That means that we could, now expand on the ports and protocols that are being monitored from an AV perspective, being able to provide, integrators remote access to a lot of these devices from anywhere at any time, and being able to bring in a lot of these rogue devices under a single space, a single view, a single dashboard to be able to action that. And going further, our document center that we have in our solution, we're now enabling QR coding so you could share externally through a QR code the access to those documents, designs, images for anyone that needs to service that room. So our solution, covers everything from the path detection, the monitoring of devices, all the way to IoT, QR coding, document center, and bringing all that into a single view.
That is a powerful solution portfolio. So my last question is, what is your go-to-market approach?
So our go-to-market approach has always been partner first. So we work closely with integrators or service providers to enable them to offer the solution to their end customers. We provide a management console that is multi-tenant. We let the integrator and service provider manage their own POCs, being able to start the trial when they need to and end it when the trial is no longer needed. And the service provider, the integrator, only pays for the subscription services only. So while it's on a trial, there is no fees, there's no service charges. They only pay for subscriptions, and they control when a service goes from trial to subscription. So it's really driven by the partner. And we offer also a fully branded and white labeled platform. And what that means for us is not only a pretty logo on a dashboard, but all the agents that I mentioned that we created for the desktop or for Zoom rooms or Microsoft Team rooms, we recompile those with the branding of our service provider in mind. So it is a solution that keeps the branding for that partner or that integrator in the customer's eye at all times.
Well, thank you so much, Jose, for taking the time to inform commercial integrators, audience, and me about these exciting offerings from VisibilityOne. Obviously, it perfectly aligns with the zeitgeist of the moment and where the demand is. I think it's a really compelling value proposition. So thank you so much for explaining it and helping me and commercial integrators audience to understand.
Thank you very much, Dan, for your time, and I look forward to us working closely in the future.
This is Dan Farisi, Editor-in-Chief of Commercial Integrator. So happy to have been joined once again by Jose de la Paz, who is co-founder and CEO of VisibilityOne Corp. And once again, Jose, thank you.